This is the first time I've talked about my work in 8 years. I was the first White House photographer to take advantage of social media. What's going on now, looking back at what it was like the last administration. This picture was taken January 5th, 2005. I was working for the Chicago Tribune, and we had a new U.S. Senator from Illinois named Barack Obama. My assignment was to essentially cover his first year in the Senate. This is his second day in office, and he was assigned this basement office in the Dirksen Senate office building. When I was making this picture, I was thinking, this guy is going to be president someday, and I got to keep that in the back of my mind. This will be a really cool scene, you know, compared to if he ever gets to the Oval Office. This is Inauguration Day in 2009, in the holding room, just before he's gone out to be sworn in as the new president. I think they went to like 8 inaugural balls, and you almost don't need a caption for this photo, but we're in a freight elevator, it's cold. He does it, a gentlemanly thing, he takes his coat off, and he puts it over the First Lady's shoulders. I especially like the kind of little private moment going on, and you kind of see the staff and Secret Service trying not to. This is that first week at the White House. Sasha Malia. Sasha is the little one on the chair. They're just starting to put up family photos behind the desk. The president had just gotten a new chair, so Sasha was trying it out. You guys, like the students here, don't remember what it was like in 2009, but we were in the midst of this really bad economic crisis. The country was losing between 500,000 to 800,000 jobs a month, and every president comes into office and they have certain challenges. This was his first immediate challenge, dealing with the economic crisis. I looked at my job as trying to show him as president and as a human being. The first few months were challenging. Him getting used to me always being there. You guys all know the play Hamilton, and there's a song, "In the Room Where It Happened." I was always in the room when it happened. I took that seriously. I tried to do it as a documentary photographer with aesthetics in mind. Oftentimes I found myself in really boring meetings, but knowing the consequences of what's taking place is really important. So oftentimes there would be days where I would shoot for an hour just using a 135 lens, trying to get telephoto pictures that show what that moment was like. So literally standing behind me on a stage is Earth, Wind, and Fire. This is at the Governor's Ball, February, March '09. They start playing a slow song, and he starts singing along to First Lady. This is actually the first day they met Bo, and this is in the East Wing of the White House. The thing that I remember about this photo is like we went right from this photo to this economic meeting that lasted like 3 hours on a Saturday. That was sort of my first year, every Saturday, every Sunday, doing meetings. This is the Sunday night when he had to call Chrysler and General Motors and say, and we're taking their company over. And you can sort of see the tension in the room, and this is just a moment before he has to call the president or CEO of Chrysler. The times that we did go to Iraq and Afghanistan, it was always a secret, and we could never tell people we were going there. We were actually in Europe. We kicked a bunch of people off the plane and flew into Iraq to go see our troops. You can tell this is actually at one of Saddam's palaces that they had taken over in Baghdad. People have called it, you know, one of the iconic pictures of the administration. There's so many aspects to this picture that I could talk about this picture for a half hour, but I'll just give you a quick backstory. When a White House staff person was leaving the White House, the president would invite the family in for like a family photo. And this gentleman on the left, who is cropped out from my bad composition, Carlton, Philadelphia, had come in. He was working for the National Security Council. They come in, they're non-political, they work for 2 years, and then they get posted someplace else. And his next posting was in Afghanistan. So he came in with his family, and his little son Jacob, who was then 5, said he had a question for the president, and he said, "I want to see if your hair feels like mine." The president bent over, and Jacob touched his head. It kind of showed so many things. Here's this little African-American kid looking up to somebody that looks like him, thinking, this is the President of the United States. And I think for the President, it also showed him what he being President meant to young African-American kids. The picture is kind of haphazard composition. I did catch the right moment. I have one frame of this. I kind of look now, I look at the picture and I see all the things I did wrong, but I think I did get the moment right. I ran into Sasha one day. He was up on the state floor doing an event. He came downstairs and Sasha was just getting home from school, so he gave her a hug. That's in the elevator that goes up to the private residence. He liked the outdoors, so oftentimes in the spring and early summer, he would have a meeting, in this case with the senior advisor, and say, let's go outside, let's go out to the Rose Garden, have a meeting out there. And then he was stretching during this meeting. I think I went to like 60 countries or something like that. People always ask me, what was your favorite places? And it was usually places that I had never been, so I had never been to the pyramids. But guess what, guys? We got to go inside the pyramids and climb this rickety staircase. And there were just like 5 or 6 of us that were able to do this. That's the staircase up to the top of the pyramids inside. That was pretty cool. Take a freeze frame of this picture because I'll bring this back up in a little bit. This is Normandy 2009. For 5, 6, 7 days a week, for 8 freaking years, I basically hung out either in the Oval Office or outside the Oval Office. That was like basically my job. And one day Sasha comes up, just says, hi Pete, and then she just starts crawling into the You can see Katie Johnson, who is then his personal secretary, is talking to him. Katie's like, what's going on here? Sasha's sneaking up. And then later I said to the president, weren't you scared when Sasha jumped up? And he looked at me and goes, it's Sasha. There are certain pictures that I convert to black and white and color, and I keep going back and forth on this one. And I think in the gallery it's in color, and I put it in black and white in the show. This is him working on this healthcare speech with his speechwriter, and it's a fascinating look into him. Even though you don't see him, you see his hand. But it tells you a lot about how he writes, how he thinks, how he edits, and how he works with staff. He could have just as easily taken these edits, given them to his speechwriter, and said, hey, here are my changes. Instead, he brought him into the Oval Office, and for an hour went over the speech and what his thought process was. I'm not supposed to be political, but I don't think it happens this way right now. When I first got to the White House, I had to hire a photo editor to help me edit my photographs. And her name was Alice Gabriner. She had worked at Time magazine. This picture came along, and I was like, I shot it too tight. I've cropped Reggie Love, who's on the far left of the picture, out of the frame. And she convinced me that it didn't matter, that the moment was so special that here you have this serious conversation going on between the President of the United States and his legislative aide. You got Axelrod looking all distressed about something or other. And here you have Gibbs and Reggie Love just having a bro moment, right? This is at the end of a state dinner. We had set up a tent that you can see in the background on the south lawn of the White House. And they were waiting for the Prime Minister of India to leave, and it was raining a little bit. I'm putting together this book, and I'm trying to show the up and down emotions of the presidency of the president, where you go from this fun moment at a state dinner, it's all formal, people are dancing, having a nice conversation, and then you've got to go to West Point and tell the cadets that your new Afghan policy is you're going to send 30,000 more troops into harm's way, and you're basically looking at the guys that probably someday soon are going to be part of that. They're going to put their life on the line for a country. We were going to this event in the old executive office building. This is a GSA worker, and he just happened to fist bump him as he was walking by. Little moments that tell you more about him as a person than maybe as a president. I have been very critical. No, I have not. I've been shading our current president according to what People are writing about me. I do not think it's a problem for a president to play golf every Saturday if they want. Really, seriously. What matters is what you do the other hours of the week. One of the things for him, who was a basketball aficionado, what golf gave him is the ability to get outdoors for 4 hours, drive your own golf cart, walk around, feel like a normal human being. The presidency is very confining. You're essentially trapped inside this compound for 8 years. You go anywhere, 100 people go with you, 25 cars go with you. So for golf, for 4 hours, he was kind of like a normal guy. He'd run around the golf course. I think it's a healthy thing for a president to do. So is body surfing. You know, funny anecdote, I shot this sequence. Towards the end of the sequence, all you could see was the wave. You couldn't see the president at all. So his head Secret Service agent, Joe Clancy, was standing next to me. And I said, "Hey Joe, look at this." Boom, boom, boom. And he like completely disappears, and I just hold that picture up. And he goes, "My job is to save him from other people, not from himself." I think maybe this would give you an idea of what it's like for Affordable Care Act is still in effect, so knock on wood. Just to run you through a few working kind of meeting pictures. This was actually the day that, this is getting really into the weeds politically, but Scott Brown won a special election in Massachusetts. He's a Republican. Made it that much more difficult for them to pass health care. They actually were talking whether to actually abandon trying to pass this bill because that one Senate vote meant so much. This is him walking in to make a speech to a joint session of Congress to explain to the Congress and the American people why it's important to pass health care reform. And this... So the other thing that the president did, went to the Republican House caucus and for basically 3 hours took every critique, every comment, every question from the Republicans about health care, and he answered them. The Republicans made a big mistake. They allowed it to be broadcast on TV. It really kind of turned the tide, and you can sort of see this is right at the end of this long session. Sometimes pictures do tell a story. That's Mike Pence, who is now our vice president. While all this is going on, Mike, he's still being a dad, right? So we've got Snowmageddon comes. This was on a Saturday. I knew this storm was coming, so I actually slept in my office. By this time, I knew him pretty well. I knew what his girls meant to him. And I figured he's going to go outside and play in the snow with him. They're out on the south lawn. That's Sasha in the middle and Malia on the right. And then in the rose garden, whoops. Back to work. It was 2 days later, arguing with the Republicans again. Again, this is all healthcare related. Then he had a all-day, like 8-hour conference with all kinds of parties on healthcare. It's carried live on C-SPAN. Remember that guy? Every 3 or 4 months, we went to Walter Reed, and we'd see patients that had been injured in Iraq and Afghanistan. And we walk in to this one room. This is Corey Rumsberg. You said you've met Corey before. And here he is. He's being presented with the Purple Heart. This is the president giving him a presidential coin. Corey can barely talk. You can see it looks like he's got this brain injury that's never going to go away. I'm thinking, this is really hard for me to look at. It's hard for me to photograph. And somebody says, you've met Corey before. See, I knew this was going to happen. So I turn around, and on the wall is this picture. That's him shaking hands with Corey less than a year before. I was thankful that we had actually gotten a picture of him. He was now in this condition with this traumatic brain injury. It was tough for me, but it was also obviously tough for him. But this is what happens when you send people to war. After all these meetings with these congressmen, it's like calling people on the phone everywhere, yelling at them. He's saying, "You want me to wash your car? I'll wash your goddamn car." Literally, this is in the evening outside the Oval Office. This is on the day that they're going to vote. This is in the Chief of Staff's office. Rom's on the phone, Phil, the legislative aide's on the phone. Just a very tense time. Back in the Oval Office, and finally the House votes on. They're watching it live on TV. You can see people celebrating. Then he invites everybody up to the Truman balcony for a glass of champagne. This is on the elevator. That's the vice president on the right. That little smile says that he's reading text messages from his friends. Somebody sent him a text message that just said, "Your mom would be proud." So the backstory here is, this is all people that were involved in healthcare. This is Robert Gibbs, who is his press secretary. He's laughing because Robert's just told him, "We knew this was never going to pass. We just let you have your fun." And then this is the next day. There was a meeting in the Situation Room, and Hillary, who had tried to pass health care with her husband and was unsuccessful, greeted him with a big hug. Another one of our secret trips to Afghanistan. I had to say to my wife, "I'm leaving, I'll be back on Sunday." She goes, "Where are you going?" I said, "I can't say." After the third time I did one of these secret trips, she's sort of like, "Oh, you're going to Afghanistan." But it was all done for security purposes. They didn't want anybody to know we were coming, so we'd show up, we'd fly into Bagram like midnight, and then after a 14-hour flight, and we'd be on the ground for like 4 hours, and we'd leave before the sun came up. They didn't ever want him there when the sun was up. So in this case, we would fly in Bagram, and then we'd take a helicopter in total darkness to a palace in Kabul, and this is him meeting with President Karzai. For you tech folks, this is shot at 6400 ISO, a quarter of a second at f1.4. And somebody had a little BlackBerry, and I caught a little bit of the light in his face from that BlackBerry. He faced a lot of things as president. This was when, you guys remember the BP oil spill? So this went on for weeks, maybe months. This is him down in the Gulf. And yet, he's still able to be a dad. In that same week when all this stuff was happening with the BP oil spill. And yet, go right back into a meeting in the Roosevelt room. Bo's my favorite. People have asked me, Bo or Sonny. Bo, I knew Bo earlier. We're both of Portuguese descent. It's kind of hard to tell, this is Paul McCartney, right? So Paul McCartney gets the Gershwin Prize for American Song. And they have all these guest artists sing the songs, and then Paul gets up and sings a bunch of, I think he sang like 3 or 4 songs, including Michelle. So think about this. Think about a young African-American girl growing up on the south side of Chicago. What are the chances that one day a former Beatle would be singing to her as First Lady of the United States? Back to the Gulf. This is what it's like to be president. You get to have these like great fun moments, and then you're back to, oh shit. We still have not figured out how to stop this spill, which was caused by an oil company. Meanwhile, the general that's in charge of Afghanistan gives an interview to Rolling Stone. He trashes the vice president, the Obama administration. The president has to fly him in from Afghanistan and basically fire him. This is just after he's fired him. He's a man who does not like to fire people. He kind of had no choice. It weighs on him as a person, maybe more so than as a president. And then back to the oil spill. This is what the main Situation Room looks like. Sasha on his birthday. He's a prankster, so think about this as like we're walking through some locker room at the University of Texas, and Marvin, the trip director, he basically has the same diet as Donald Trump. He eats a lot of Big Macs and stuff like that. So he saw the scale, so he jumped on the scale to see how he's doing with his weight. Meanwhile, the President of the United States puts his toe on the scale, and Marvin keeps sliding the scale further and further, thinking he's like been gaining weight. Everybody else can tell what's going on except for Marvin. This was after the midterm elections. The Republicans took back Congress, and he's about to have to go out and give a press conference. Later that year, we went to Japan. We went to this Buddha statue, and he had been there when he was a kid. And he said to the woman on the left there, he said, do you have any green tea ice cream? He goes, that's what I had when I was, last time I was here when I was a little kid. And so they still had it, so that's what he's eating. North Korea's just launched a missile, so I go upstairs in the residence, like probably 11 o'clock at night, in his home office. Another one of our secret trips to Afghanistan to see the troops. I've covered too many of these where our country's problem with guns. We had this shooting in Arizona. This is the shooting where Gabby Giffords shot. This is Mary Stoddard, whose husband threw her to the ground, jumped on top of her, and he was killed. The beginning of the Arab Spring, there's all these protests in Egypt. Everybody wants him to step down. He says he's not going to resign, but he'll resign at the end of the year. The president then has to get on the phone and call Mubarak and say you should step down now. A couple days later, Saturday, Sasha's basketball team, the Vipers, they had 2 coaches, and the coaches couldn't show up for some reason. So POTUS had to coach the team that day with Reggie Love. They were under a timeout. What's really funny is number 5, Olivia, interned in our office last year. She's a high school student, so we let her intern for about a month last summer. Christ the Redeemer statue in Rio de Janeiro. They were scheduled to go up there. The weather turned really bad. They canceled the visit. They had dinner. It's like 10 o'clock at night. Everybody wants to go to bed. We're all jet lagged. And somebody says, this might be our only chance to ever go, when the fog started to lift. So we went up there, as clear as a bell, and then 10 minutes after we got there, the fog started rolling in. And it just created this kind of magical effect. In the Situation Room on a Saturday, dealing with Olivia. Basically, meetings went on all day that day of the Bin Laden raid. And this is just kind of a compilation of the many different meetings that went on, and then it kind of culminated in this picture where they're actually watching as the mission unfolds. And then this is just before he went out to make his remarks. This picture was taken around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. This is 7 hours later, once they decided they were going to make it public. He's sitting at his assistant's desk in the outer Oval Office, and that's when it started breaking on TV. So I focused on the TV image of Bin Laden in the background. A couple of days later, we went to the firehouse in New York City that had lost 15 guys in the towers. This is in Joplin, Missouri, after the tornado. I mean, one of the things that you do as president is you become the consoler-in-chief. Was it 88 people lost their life in this tornado? It was an F5 tornado, and this guy's name is Hugh Hills, and he hid in a closet on the first floor of his house. The entire second floor was wiped out, and half the first floor, but he lived. So we were touring this community. It's like kind of like a Norman Rockwell scene at these private schools, as they have graduation for everything. So Sasha had 4th grade graduation. Like, what? So we're leaving the end of the year ceremony, and there's this daycare center right next door, and there were these kids hanging out the window, so you just went over to say hi to them. Sasha's birthday at Camp David. Let's have a gunfight. Squirt gun, squirt gun, squirt gun. He liked to say, I'm the baby whisperer. Here's his baby crying. So he goes, let me take her over. I'll show you how it's done first, There's this thing called debt ceiling, right? And it's always raised automatically, and basically the Republicans try to hold him hostage, saying we're not going to lift the debt ceiling, meaning America's not going to pay their bills unless you reduce the deficit. So this went on for like a month. So just really quick, I'm going to zip through this. Just a lot of arguing back and forth. And they're trying to plot what's going to happen if we default as a country. Means people aren't going to get Social Security checks, the government's going to lose its bond rating, it's going to plunge the world into this financial crisis. It was like really high stakes drama. Craig, the VP, takes him for a walk around the South grounds, meeting in the Chief of Staff's office, just begging the congressional leaders. After this call, they were like, okay, we're in default as a country. Like about an hour later, the president said, let me call the Speaker of the House one last time. And they finally said, okay, we'll lift the debt ceiling. And this is his reaction just after he hung up with the Speaker. The new Martin Luther King Jr. National Memorial in D.C., they paid what we call an off-the-record visit one night before the actual opening of the museum. This is Bono, right? That's Alicia Keys on the right, and he invited them over for lunch. Bono walks into the dining room, says to the president, where should I sit? The president said, sit wherever there's a chair. And Bono sees this guitar case in the corner. And it was a guitar that had been given to the president during the campaign, during the Rock the Vote. So Bono takes the guitar out of the case. It had never been tuned. Oh. Bono like tunes it right away, and he starts playing Norwegian Wood by the Beatles, because there's a line in there, something like, sit anywhere that there's a chair. Like for him to like make that connection like that. You can see the president, who for the most part was unaware of my presence, he just kind of went about his business, turns around and he says to me, he goes, how cool is this? This is a couple days before Christmas, and he decides to go shopping, and he's going to take Bo. I'm like, why are we taking Bo? I said, but can I ride in the car with you, because that'll be a cool photo. And I go, where are we going anyway? This is while we're in the car. He goes, oh, we're going to PetSmart. I go, PetSmart? I go, that's where I buy my crickets. And he looks at me, he goes, why do you buy crickets? I said, well, I have 2 lizards. He thought that was the funniest thing. He officiated at my wedding, and at my wedding, he talked about my reptiles. So like this, after I said that to him, that's all I heard for like 5 years. Just before a joint session of Congress. This is a year later, after Gabby Giffords was shot in the head, and she made an appearance on the floor of the House of Representatives, and this is him hugging Gabby. This is the Rosa Parks bus at the Ford Museum in Detroit. We were doing a campaign event there, and we were touring some of the exhibits backstage, and I didn't even know the bus was there, and he walked up on the bus. G8 Summit at Camp David. This is at the NATO Summit. He goes, let's go up. This is at Soldier Field, which, this is his hometown field, where the Chicago Bears play. He goes, let's go throw a football on the field. Who wants my strawberry pie? Literally, that's how it happened. I'll have it. So I got really pissed at Time Magazine because they used this photo and superimposed, this is during the election, superimposed Trump's head. I called up the director of photography and had my say with her. This is Malia coming home from summer camp, surprising her dad. I posted this on Instagram the other day, and I just said, those were the days. I think that was my caption. This is the night of Benghazi, when Chris Hughes, the ambassador, was killed. He's just been told that they think the ambassador had died. This is during a debate prep in Las Vegas. He went for a walk with his best friend, Marty Nesbitt, on this abandoned golf course. Back on Air Force One during the campaign, and he's just gotten the latest job numbers and is excited. Madison. This is the son of a staff person. Around Halloween, he zapped the president into a web. Lecture night. This is his hardest day. It's hard for me to even talk about this. This is him being told about the shootings that 20 first graders have been shot to death after they had gone to school. And he went upstairs that afternoon and ran into Malia and gave her a hug, and he just wouldn't let her go. He has to be the spokesman for the country, but also as a parent, you can't imagine what those parents must be feeling. 2 days later, we went to Newtown. Sasha was supposed to have a dance recital that night. Instead, he had to go to Newtown. But he said, I'll go to your dress rehearsal in the afternoon. While Sasha, you know how dance recitals are, there's like 16 acts. And I think Sasha was in 3 of them. So when Sasha was on stage, he put all his attention on her. And then when Sasha was not on stage, he worked on his speech. This is greeting one of the families in Newtown, working on his speech in the classroom just moments before he went out, and then making his remarks at this memorial service. POTUS singing happy birthday to POTUS. 3 days before the inauguration, she's got her new hairdo, the bangs. People were like, oh my God, First Lady's got bangs. In the parade after the inauguration, and I said to the president, I said, sir, do you mind if I ride in a limousine with you? He goes, he looks at me, he goes, with a straight face, he goes, Michelle and I were going to make out. He's running with Dennis McDonough, the chief of staff's kids, literally saying, let's run, it's cold. In Israel, this is in Petra, Jordan. This helicopter's coming in. This is Petra. Tell you what, this is probably the coolest place I've ever been. Learning about the Boston Marathon bombing. The next day, talking to the FBI director. 2 days later, going to Boston and meeting some of the victims. I could write a really good caption for this one. But this is at a Father's Day social. This kids fell asleep. He's like, where's Pete? Let's get a picture of this. The kid never knew what happened until we sent him a photo. This is in Nelson Mandela's cell. You can't see him, but the guy that's to the left was in prison with Mandela, and he was like the tour guide. He just died yesterday. This is the day that he's like, let's go for a walk, without telling the Secret Service. That did not go over very well. Seattle is after a snowstorm, walking home. There he is again, our friend, Corey Remsburg. We hung these pictures in the West Wing, and we hung this picture up, and about a week later, the president saw it hanging, and he just, this is his quote, the 2 most famous sets of ears in Washington. Can you get me a print of that? I want to show it to Sasha and Malia. Yeah, what can I say? It was interesting to watch this relationship over the 8 years. Kind of looks like he's giving somebody the finger, but he's not. He's at this immigration rally. People start heckling him, who are on the far left side of him. They're like way super liberals, and they're yelling at him that he's not doing enough for immigration. And rather than have the police throw him out like some people do, he said basically, shut up for now, I'll talk to you after my speech. He finishes the speech, he points to those guys and he says, come backstage. And they're like, I didn't really think you were. So he brings him backstage and he has this conversation with him. I love the Secret Service agent in the background, keeping a close eye on him. It's like, this shows anybody could be president. Even Nancy Reagan once said, presidents don't get vacations, they get change of scenery, which is true, because when you're on vacation as president, you're still the president, and when things happen, you have to respond. This is after the Ferguson riots, and he's meeting with his team, including the Attorney General on the right. Aung San Suu Kyi, he was the first president to go to Myanmar. For like 6 years, I've been trying to work the MLK bust into a photo, and it just like never, because of where it was situated, it just never worked. And then one day he had, after Ferguson, he invited all these young activists to the Oval Office for a meeting. And this is just after the meeting had broken up. And he stopped and talked to them for a little bit longer, and I was able to finally make a picture with MLK. This is the 50th anniversary of the Bloody Sunday March from Montgomery to Selma. And crossing the bridge. Look at that. So that's Corey again. He had moved back to Arizona, where his dad lived. That's his dad, Craig, on the left. I've gotten to know them pretty well, both of them. We were in Phoenix, and the president said, let's go visit Corey at his house. It's one group that's been helping veterans sort of reacclimate back into the community, and they built this house for him. I framed this picture. This is not cropped. This is the way I shot it. I had a purpose in mind. I was trying to make a statement while I was shooting it. I always loved this picture because he had this really interesting relationship with Nancy Pelosi, who was the House leader for the Democrats. And this is after one of their meetings, and he kind of like followed her out and was still pleading with her as she was like walking away. So I just love it. You can't see her. She's walking down the hallway, and he's still pleading with her as she's walking out. That's his briefcase. That's where he keeps all his stuff. This is Ella Rhodes, who is the daughter of his Deputy National Security Advisor. This is at Beau Biden's funeral. This is the reason why Joe Biden did not run for president. His son had died. Really tragic. This is after the president had given a eulogy at his funeral. This is for, I know there was one journalist. It's kind of like The Sound of Music, right? Yeah. A lot of these private parties, and we had Prince play. And at one point, Sasha, who, once you get to a certain age, you don't really want to have anything to do with your dad. The women that are in the audience, remember when you were like 15, you kind of like, Dad. But she invited Dad up to the stage to dance, so he went up and danced with her. There was like literally no light. I mean, I think I shot this again at 6400 ISO, and there's like 20th of a second or something like that, so it's not real sharp. It was really funny when Prince first came out. I'm like standing in front of the keyboard, and they announced Prince, and I'm looking at the center mic, right, and there's some woman playing guitar, singing. I'm like, you know, I wonder when Prince is coming out, right? So they're like 3 minutes into the song, and I turn, and literally, like right where you are, is Prince playing the keyboard. I didn't even know that he was like right. This was an interesting day in that, you know, we had this terrible shooting in Charleston where this guy, a young white guy, walked in, killed a bunch of African Americans during a prayer service in Charleston. So he went to a memorial service a few days later. You know, this is actually him singing Amazing Grace, if you remember that moment. And then we come back to the White House, and the Supreme Court has just upheld same-sex marriage. And they light the White House up.
No one realized this.
It is my honor to introduce Wendy McVicker, our poet in residence, and Emily Prince, our education director, who, along with poets from the creative writing class at Stewart's, will be performing for us.
I'm so happy to see so many people here today. We call ourselves Another Language Altogether. This is Little League Funeral, and it is after a photograph by Gordon Bayer, an Ohio photojournalist. Look at these boys in their Little League uniforms, holding their caps, uneasy, standing still and being here. Two men beside them in dark suits, tall shadows in the dusk of the church hall. And then the small white coffin flanked by more boys. How could this happen to them? These sunshine boys, boys of green grass and home runs, fly balls and grounders sliding into base, the joys of dust and sweat and dirt coating their tongues. It is too much that one on their team rounded third base, heading for home, and kept on running. Past home plate and the catcher's outstretched hands, past the dugout where the other boys jumped up and yelled, past the bleachers and the warm odors of hot dogs and beer, past the rusting chain-link fence, running into the dark, long after the fizzing nighttime lights snapped off, leaving the field to dust and the last fireflies of summer. The creative writing residency that's going on, taking place weekly at the Nelsonville Public Library, sponsored by Stewart's, supported by the Ohio Arts Council. We read lots of poetry and we write stories and essays.
I was an English teacher for about 14 years in public schools. I used to teach a story by John Updike called Tomorrow and Tomorrow and So Forth. You can look it up online, Updike Tomorrow, and you get a PDF of it. It's very short. This is based on that. It's called Thirst for Knowledge. The teacher stands, rigid as a flagpole in front of the class. The student peers at her peers and poses her question. He dips into his brain, pours gallons of words, shares secretive smiles, presumes conspiracy. She stares at a spot on the wall where fly guts spattered like a Rorschach blotter. He senses her distraction, poised like Damocles' sword, and slices through her reverie. I served you gallons of knowledge, and it sloshed from your brain like a toilet overflowing. I see your mind is but a quart container. Startled, she returns to his world. I'm sorry, she smiles, but your will seems quite bitter, and I just wasn't that thirsty.
I was almost late today because I stepped in a cat mess, and I had to clean it off my slipper. Where am I from? Born in Walter Reed Hospital in Washington, D.C., all three of us. I am from Yokohama, Japan. The people are pretty and gentle, so polite. I'm 6 and I remember. Their passion for nature, their idea of beauty, the wooden houses with tatami floors and shoji sliding paper doors. How could they have gone to war against us? I'm from an army base in Kansas, Fort Leavenworth, the Sunflower State, huge fields of them. I'm from Fort Belvoir, Virginia. We live in a big brick house for 4.5 years, our longest home. Gilbert and Sullivan, dust bunnies under the beds, beloved cats and dogs, horses to ride, swimming every day all summer. Can one be from an army base? I'm from France. I'm 13. I love their language, their customs, their food. Bonjour, madame. Bonjour, mademoiselle. They greet you cheerily as you enter any store. Elegance in everything. I'm from Frankfurt, Germany. I have my own suite on the 3rd floor of our large house on Acht Frauensteinstrasse. I knit, I sew, listen to records and armed forces radio, and dream about one boy or another in my American high school. I have an incredible piano teacher, Frau Meinhold. Sehr gut. She teaches me to play ragtime by ear. Mama says people claim they didn't know what Hitler was up to. What? I am from Highland Park, Illinois. It's my senior year. No, I'm not. I hate it here. I have no friends I like. The Midwestern accent annoys me. Our family is falling apart. We're out of the army now. Where did you go to college? No guidance there. You are not college material, I'm told, at the prestigious high school. How about Adams State in Colorado? I asked my father. Ha ha, he says. You don't want to go there. He is from Colorado. You'll go to the University at Boulder. I am 17 and a half. That first week at university, my hands shake as I sit in class. I'm in college! I have been in Athens since 1972. I love it. Many internationals, culture, concerts, theater, liberals, academics, no racism. Marriage, children, teaching, happiest times. Now, I am considered old, yet I am young. But I'm not from here.
Thank you, Amy. And now, John Miller.
This is a poem about my 2nd grade teacher, Mrs. Zellner, in Copley, Pennsylvania. Mrs. Zellner. What was it Mrs. Zellner had, the others didn't? She didn't have a name like Mrs. Eisenbrown, whom we were sure was more than half related to the president. Or legs like Mrs. Mayberry's, or Mr. Everett's erudition. Was it her little Nash Rambler that Mr. Hessinger's long-fin DeSoto seemed daily waiting to devour out behind the playground? Or was it her voice, a softness palpable as her arm across the shoulder, or her hand upon the brow? Perhaps it was her laugh, a wild guffaw that rolled up from her toes, echoed round the grandness of her belly, only finally to burst forth, contagious as the clanging of the school bell at the close of day. God, she was immense, So with our little feet, it took 3 days to circumnavigate her. She was beautiful. She was Pope Julius of the bulletin boards, and we, her Michelangelos, turning walls to Sistine ceilings. There was order, there was brilliance, from even Joey Pranjangans, who must have been completely right-brained. There was history and grammar, there was comedy and drama. There was a Billy Goat Gruff production from the PTA with big, dumb Elmer Gosler in the smart part. Too soon it seemed that second grade ran out, and I with it. But I remember still that room in Lincoln School, as in a light distilled through stained glass, engendering there a service more solemn than the Mass, and happy as a carol. And when I crave a glimpse of heaven, or sense the gentle rustling of angelic wings, it's you I think of, Mrs. Elder. I think of you.